Hi all, welcome to English classes at Radhika Dinesh. Today we are going to learn the topic History of Human Communication and in the paper Communication Skills. And you know that human communication has a great history which spans over thousands and ten thousands of years. And a lot of evolutions have been happened in the field of communication, and now the communication is very imminent and very effective through mobile phones and internet. So let's see different stages of the evolution of human communication in this video. And it is said that the history of communication itself can be traced back since the origin of speech circa 1 lakh BCE. And from 1 lakh BCE onwards, human beings are communicating with each other. That means circa means approximately 1 lakh year back, people are used communication devices, that is they used to communicate themselves. That is in order to communicate means in order to pass messages they used some devices of communication, not through language but through some other devices they used to communicate among themselves. And the use of technology in communication may be considered since the first use of symbols about 30,000 years BCE. And we know the use of technology in communication may be considered, and technology, that is the first technology, is the use of symbols. Okay, that is there won't be any kind of technology because language was not even invented during that time. So anyway, they communicated by using symbols. Symbols may be symbols related to sounds or symbols related to the things they represent. Anyway, they used symbols from 30,000 BCE onwards. Among the symbols used, there are cave paintings, petroglyphs, pictograms, and ideograms. So, that is what are the symbols they have used. They have used symbols like cave painting. They painted caves, and you might have heard about cave paintings. That is during the ancient era. That is they used to paint the caves, or they used to scribble on the rocks, that is on the caves, in order to it's a part of communication. And in the later slides we will discuss it in detail. Anyway, they used cave paintings, petrographs. Petrographs is also a kind of symbols which is used, they used to mark on the caves. And pictograms means pictorial communication, that is if they want to communicate, that is if they want to tell about a god, they will draw the picture of a god on the cave. That is the most important or the most interesting part is that they used to portray pictures on the rocks. That is why it is also, that is it is available or it is seen even now, otherwise it won't be seen. That is if they are painted or they are pictured or portrayed pictures on the sand, it will be vanished so soon. There is some communications, that is by drawing pictures on the sands or drawing pictures on the leaves may be there, but they didn't last like the pictures they have carved on the rocks or the caves they lived. And it is said that they used to live in caves. Okay, like animals, human beings in ancient times, they used to, or in prehistoric times, they used to live in caves in forests. And among the symbols used, there are cave paintings, petroglyphs, pictograms, and ideograms. Ideograms means idea. That is, they represent idea through symbols. That is, at first, in pictograms they represent things to symbols. That is, they represent or they draw. They have drawn pictures of animals or pictures of flowers or something like that. And ideograms means they have made symbols for ideas. Means maybe for love, hungry, or anger, or such ideas have been transformed into pictures during this period. And writing was a major innovation as well as printing technology and more recently telecommunication and the internet. And we know that after these paintings, petroglyphs, pictograms and ideograms, what happened? Writing was innovated or invented. The spoken language has been invented at first and later writing was invented on behalf of this spoken language. And as this invention, that is as part of this invention, they began to communicate through writing. And we know that after that it was a great invention in the history of humans. That is printing, not printing, but the writing or this language. Language is the most important invention or discovery of human beings. And we know that after the invention of printing technology, printing, that is written communication, is far more easy, become far more easy, and they used to communicate to a wider audience, isn't it? If I am writing something, if I am writing a letter, and it is directed to a small group of people. But after the invention of printing press, what happened? Large number of copies of letters and books have been printed out, and this created a great leap in the history of human beings. That is, human beings have developed so fastly after the invention of the printing press. And more recently, what happened? That is, there is a very fast developing trend is there. It is only because of the telecommunication system and the internet. And nowadays, what is happening? That is, people are messaging from one corner to the world to the other corner to the world, and they are talking with the people. From one corner of the world to the other corner of the world by seeing, isn't it? But by using internet and by using WhatsApp call or whatever maybe it is, Google Meet or whatever maybe it is, they can communicate. Face-to-face communication is possible, isn't it? So the invention of internet and telecommunication has accelerated the speed of communication and the speed of technology, everything else. There is a lot of changes have been happened to humankind. Then let's discuss the evolution of communication in detail. So the first thing was primitive times. That is, primitive means very old times, and during that time there was no speech, and people used to communicate among themselves by using cave paintings or a form of rock art, etc. Anyway, that is, they cannot imagine. They did not imagine the invention of speech sounds or speech mechanism at that time. So the communication was also so primitive during that period. Then the petroglyphs, the period of petroglyphs have been originated, and the next advancement in the history of communication that came with the production of petroglyphs. Okay, petroglyphs, that means carvings into the rock surface. They began to carve on the surface of rocks, and this has made communication so easy, and a kind of sophistication has been happened in the field of communication during that time. And it took about 20,000 years for Homo sapiens, that is, we know that Homo sapiens, that is the biological name of human beings, to move from the first cave paintings into the first petroglyphs. Okay, they are at first during the primitive times they painted the caves, okay, and after that they moved to carve the rocks. Okay, some they might have invented some instruments to carve the rocks at that time. Anyway, petroglyphs, that is communication by carving on the rock, is very important in the history of communication. And during that time, and then comes the pictograms. Picto means picture. Anyway, it is picture, and it is a symbol representing a concept, object, activity, place, or event by illustration. They began to draw pictures not draw, but they actually carving pictures on the rocks. Okay, they might have took or they might have undergone great efforts by doing this. And pictograph is a form of proto-writing whereby ideas are transmitted through drawing. So in this pictogram era, they are transmitting idea through drawing. Okay, there were no symbols, that is, speech sounds were not at all invented, alphabets were not at all invented, so they used to communicate through pictures. Okay, and after that, ideograms, following the pictograms, ideograms had been invented by the Homo sapiens or human beings. Pictograms evolved into ideograms, then graphical symbols that represent an idea. Not pictures, but a kind of symbols which represent idea. Maybe that is we used to write the heart shape for love. Maybe like that. They are using symbols to represent an idea. Their ancestors, the pictograms, could represent only something resembling their form. That is, if they want to communicate, if they want to tell something about the goat or the cow, they will carve the picture of a cow or goat on the rock. But here, it's far more developed. They used symbols for cow and maybe horns. Maybe like that, horns of cow or horns of goat. Instead of painting or instead of carving the whole picture of a goat, they used some symbols for these animals. Okay, so symbols are translated into ideas. Okay, then and concepts like that is we cannot, that what is a concept, that is we cannot touch or see, but we can feel it. That is love, heat. Then love, heat, hate, or something else, anger, hungry. Okay, such feelings can be represented, or they began to represent such feelings into symbols during these ideograms. Then God is also a kind of idea or a concept. Because some ideas are universal, many different cultures developed similar ideograms. For example, an eye with a tear means sadness. That is, crying is crying or sadness everywhere. Crying, that is, if a person is drawing tears from one's eyes, that means that is that particular person is sad. That is, he is only a sad person will cry. Even if he is in America or he is in India or in some other part of the world. So these are common ideas, and laughing is a kind of, it is a symbol of happiness. Okay, so such universal ideas are being carved on the rock, began to carve on the rocks. Then comes the writing. Okay, and in the next classes we can discuss more about writing, and writing has changed the human beings a lot, and it has made the evolution so fast. Okay, so I think you have understood my video. Okay, now I think you have understood my video or the class, and please prepare for the class, or please write down the notes I have sent by you, or it is displayed on the screen, and listen to the class and start writing. So only by this means you can develop yourself and you can understand the video very clearly. So this will help you a lot. So please be prepared. Okay, thank you.